Let's get into it. Coming from the head or coming from the heart instead of the head. So we don't actually see life as it is, we see life as we are. So when we're better able to shift our emotional state and shift our perceptions, then we get closer to who we are, our true vision, our true values, what we ultimately care about. And in here is a nice little diagram to see that. Our thoughts, our feelings, and our actions produce our results in life. And one thing to note here, the shortest pencil retains more than the longest memory. I only have a certain amount of time to go through this really powerful information with you. So take notes and review, go back to them and review them. So with our emotional state, most people are in a high cortisol state that activates their amygdala, which is the fear portion of the brain, and they're not actually able to access their prefrontal cortex that regulates their thoughts, their feelings, and their actions. So I have a little diagram here for you guys. So when we're in a high cortisol state, we're coming from our head, not from our heart. We're coming from the amygdala. When we have increased cortisol in our body, then our amygdala and the connections inside of that portion of the brain actually expands and grows. So how many of you guys have been in the state of worry and stress, and then it's just gotten worse and worse and worse and worse? Your amygdala and the connections are actually growing to stay in that fear state. The other thing that happens is your hippocampus, the portion of your brain that's in charge of memory, it shrinks when we're in a high stress state. So how many of us have been depressed or super stressed and we can't remember things? It becomes so much harder. There are actual physical changes in the head that causes the amygdala to shrink and the amygdala to expand and the hippocampus to shrink. And what we want to do is get back to the prefrontal cortex, because when we reduce that stress response, then we increase the connections in our prefrontal cortex and we decrease the connections in our amygdala and our hippocampus grows. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? Cool. And just a quick graphic right here. The prefrontal cortex regulates our thoughts, feelings, and our actions. Our hippocampus is responsible for learning and memory, and our amygdala reacts to stress and emotional arousal. So when we say we're in our head, most likely our amygdala is expanded, it has more connections, and we're not actually coming from our heart. And when we're in our prefrontal cortex, front part of the brain, we're more tapped into our heart and into alignment. Does that make sense? So to create a vision and to create our values, what we want to do is come from the heart instead of the head. And coming from the prefrontal cortex, not the amygdala. So what actually produces this stress response? Overactive thinking. So when we can put space between our thoughts to make music out of life and have less thinking in our head, then we come from the heart instead of increasing the synaptic connections in the amygdala. So the question is, how do we actually do that? It's shifting our emotional state and changing our perceptions. So shifting our emotional state, just like Tony Robbins says, the first thing to make a change is shifting the state. Or Albert Einstein said, you cannot solve a problem in the same energy that is created. So we want to shift our emotional state first, and then we can shift our perceptions. So ways to shift our emotional state: meditation, exercise, breath work, centering, affirmations, visualizations, gratitudes. I find the simplest way is through exercise and through breath work. How many of you guys have been 20 minutes into an exercise and you've just been boom, in the body, in the moment? You're shifting that emotional state. You're reducing your cortisol response and increasing your endorphin response, which is the social euphoric molecule, right? Or breath work. The antidote to cortisol, the fastest antidote, is serotonin. When we're taking big belly breaths, then we're maximizing the amount of serotonin in our body, and it decreases the cortisol response, moves us out of our amygdala into our prefrontal cortex. Does that make sense? Raise your hands if that makes sense. Cool. Awesome. And the other thing is, we don't see life as it is, we see life as we are. So being able to reframe our situations and anchor ourselves to our true values, our mission, our purpose, our vision, our principles, our philosophies, and our true stories, the more we can shift and change in life. But what's holding most people back is being in the amygdala and those running thoughts, just going, right? But when we shift our emotional state and shift our perceptions from being in the prefrontal cortex, then we can make a huge difference in how we actually perceive life. So for example, we have a brother Hung, who started with us back in December of last year, and he was depressed on the sales call. He had paid $70,000 for coaching that year, and he was only making 10K per month. And he started to put these things into place with his new perceptions and energy rituals. And these aren't typical results, but over the matter of 10 months, he went from a 10K per month business to getting a $62 million offer on his business. And it was from shifting his emotional state, his perceptions, and installing systems into his business. And he had a background of operations and he had success in the past. But the thing that was holding him back was his emotional state and his perceptions and how he was seeing life. Does that make sense? You guys with me? Cool. So what does it actually mean to be in our head right here? So when we're in our head, in our amygdala, just running, we feel like our inauthentic self. We don't feel like this is actually me. And that was me for 6 years, between 18 to 24, before I started to take care of my health, lose 20 pounds in 90 days, eat healthy, do the breath work, do the exercise, and surround myself with new people, right? I felt like my inauthentic self for the longest time. And we feel like we're extrinsically run, that either we're just driven by money or we're just driven by the people around us, and it doesn't feel like it's coming from the internal, right? And it feels like we're using a persona, a facade, a mask. We're not actually us. We're not able to be unique, and we're just tapped into the masses around us. And we're in a constant survival state instead of thriving and just being run by that center of the brain. It's constant fight or flight. Everything is a desire, and we have constant mental activity. We're not actually thinking, and everything is just coming from impulse, right? Does that make sense of what being in the head actually feels like? Cool. So we want to transmute and transcend into the heart from shifting our emotional state and our perceptions. Because when we do that, we start operating from the medial prefrontal cortex. We feel like our true, authentic self. And we're intrinsically driven by our own values, our own vision, our own mission, our own purpose, instead of extrinsically driven. We feel like our true self, and we can tap into our intuition, which is up here. I'll talk about that. And we feel like the masters. We're in thrival mode instead of survival mode. We feel grounded in everything that we're doing. We're operating from the executive center here in the brain. We have true, clear thinking towards an outcome instead of just mental activity and all this jumbled noise. And we can tap into one of the coolest things, intuition. I didn't know what intuition was for the longest time. And then I went through a period after selling my business and tapping fully into my heart, getting fully out of my head. And there were so many serendipitous moments, and I could just follow the nudges in my heart, and just the craziest things happen. So it's all about getting out of the head into the heart and creating space when you're creating your vision and creating your values. So it comes from your true, authentic self, not from all of the past programming in your head. Does that make sense? Cool. Are some of you guys like this is total bullshit? Anybody? Cool. All right. Put a one in the chat if this was helpful and this made sense. Put a two in the chat if you're like, this is fucking bullshit. I don't know what you're talking about. Uh, if it does feel like bullshit, there might be some work that you can do to drop out of the head and into the heart and into the feeling and out of the just thinking mental activity. And it might sink in a little bit more. And just invite you guys to try it out. Cool. I love it. Armin is a three. I don't even know what that means, but that's cool. Three is crazy. Awesome. Okay. So the other thing I wanted to give you guys a little graphic on getting out of the head into the heart so we can create our vision from that space is that these are the primary neurotransmitters and hormones to move out of the heart or out of the head and into the heart. So with cortisol right here, most people are just driven off cortisol and go, 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 thinking all the time and not being able to expand their awareness. I would say I tell people they're probably 80% cortisol and 20% of these other hormones and neurotransmitters, and not the other way around. We want to be more 20% or 80% these other neurotransmitters and 20% cortisol. Because cortisol is good to take action and move forward, but we don't want an overproduction of it. Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? Cool. So one really cool thing when you guys go through this document, nail down your vision, is you'll actually produce more natural dopamine in your head or in your body. Dopamine is responsible for focus and motivation. And when we reduce those little dopamine hits, like scrolling through the phone constantly, or drinking alcohol, or masturbation, we start to reset our dopamine baseline, and we're more naturally motivated and focused. When I quit drinking and when I started working out and started reducing how many cheap dopamine hits I was getting, I could finally focus and just get shit done. When I went to Deer Park Monastery after working super fucking hard for 4 years straight, I reduced that dopamine baseline and I felt naturally more motivated and more focused. When we have a really compelling vision for our life and for ourselves, we naturally produce more dopamine, more motivation and focus in our body, because dopamine is the pursuit of pleasure molecule. So when we have a compelling vision and we think about it and we visualize it, then we start to think, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? We produce more dopamine. Does that make sense? Cool. All of these are the antidote to cortisol and the overproduction of cortisol. So oxytocin, the love intimacy chemical, when we're talking about, when we're connected with people that we love, and we're talking about vulnerable stories, things that we've overcome, we release more oxytocin into our system. When we're hugging or cuddling a loved one, we release more oxytocin in our system, and we reduce the cortisol response. When we're walking in nature, or when we're doing breath work, when we're doing meditation, we release more serotonin, the happy, joy, calm molecule that reduces the cortisol response. Vasopressin is the sexual chemical. So when we are engaged in those acts with somebody that we actually care about, with oxytocin and vasopressin, we reduce the cortisol response. And also endorphins. When you guys are laughing, when you're at a comedy show, when you're joking around with your friends, or when you're exercising, you're releasing more endorphins that reduce the cortisol response. So all of these things that just light us up and fill us up with joy will reduce the cortisol response. And those are just some examples. Cool? Does that make sense? Awesome. And what are you guys taking away from this so far before we move into the next section of creating our vision? Whether it's over the values, or over evolving our emotional state and our perceptions, or the connection chemicals, anything like that, pop it into the chat. And Cool, being aligned. Love it, Will. Good stuff. Thoughts and goals. Perfect. Sweet. Breath work, creating the vision. Awesome. Great seeing it broken down scientifically. All this sums up and tapping into intuition. 100%. Love it. So there's another framework that I've created from kind of syncing up the balance between the masculine, I love working, getting shit done, and the feminine of surrender, letting go. That is true balance, coming into alignment and balance, which is the doing, the intention, and the surrender, the letting go. When we surrender, when we let go, then we come into our heart. When we intend and go, we go up into our head and get shit done. Both are beautiful and both are really important. Is the intention, going, head, and surrender, letting go, heart, right? Does that make sense? Are you guys with me? Cool. So the other framework that I want to share with you guys that we do inside the Brotherhood, this is our main framework, is that it's all about energizing your emotional state. This is surrender, tapping into your physical, emotional, and mental and spiritual being at its core. So with physical, it's about strengthening it. And this is how we tap into our heart too. We want to strengthen our physical body, process our emotional energy. Breath work is a great way to do that, and focus our mental energy through meditation, right? And where attention goes, energy flows. So the better that we have physical body processing our emotions, we can better focus our mental energy and our attention towards where we actually want it to go. And then we be our spiritual energy in the center. So this is more the feminine, the surrender. You look at Alex Hormozy and how jacked he is and all of that stuff. When he's working out and totally in his body, he's tapping into that surrender. There's no guessing why he's so successful, is because he has a perfect balance between business and body, right? Then with evolving your identity, your perceptions, what we're here on this call for is our values, our vision, our mission, our purpose, our beliefs, and our principles. So our values are what we care about. Our vision, our mission, and purpose are where we're going. Our beliefs are what we have in our head, those thoughts that move us towards our vision or away from it. So we have empowering beliefs that move us towards our vision, or limiting beliefs that move us away from our vision. And our thoughts create our reality. So once we know where we want to go with our vision, then we install the empowering beliefs and delete the limiting beliefs. Does that make sense? You guys with me? Cool. And then we have principles, and principles are how we make decisions, right? Between our life, our business, our relationships. So a good work principle that I installed over the past couple of years from Ray Dalio is, if I won't work with somebody for a lifetime, I won't work with them for a day. It's a business hiring principle. And it helps me make a decision of whether I actually want to hire that person, right? So that's an example of a principle. So once we have our energy down and our mindset down, then it's about executing the plan. So we want to plan for our vision, for our goals. We want to create the system around achieving that. So for example, when I was losing 20 pounds in 90 days, I had to set up the system, which was counting my macros, counting my calories, setting up a food delivery service so I could hit those macros easily. I watched all the Damian Patrick videos on YouTube to model his workouts because I wanted his body. So I set up that system, and then I executed that system. And every 2 weeks, I weighed myself to see if I was down 1.5, 2 pounds, and I reviewed how I was doing with that system, right? So life comes down to this. Once you know the 3E methodology here, there's nothing you can't do, especially if it's aligned with your values. It's energizing your state, evolving your identity, and executing your plan. Does that make sense? Awesome. Cool. So now that we got that out of the way, I hope those little seeds plant and sprout over time. We have the document for you guys here, which is the annual execute the plan document. These are the best questions that I've taken from so many different vision exercises that I've done over the past 7 years. And it will help you reflect on 2023 and set your vision for 2024. And I will drop this into the chat right now. Boom. Boom. There you go. And click that, you guys can make a copy. And I have my answers here, so you can see how I filled it out. And we have the sections around your values, around your skill sets, around your relationships for 2024, all of that stuff in here, your purpose statement, your mission statement, all of that inside of here. So what we're going to do now is go out. I'm a big fan of community and connection. So what we're going to do is go into breakout rooms so you guys can connect, so you guys can talk about your own 2023s and reflect on that, and talking about your 2024s together. So I'm going to put you guys in breakout rooms, introduce yourself, talk about your 2023s, and talk about your goals for 2024 together. Does that sound good? Cool. Awesome. So I will put you in there now. Boom. And create. Awesome. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. And turn on those cameras, be seen. Form those connections. You never know where they'll end up. And I will see you guys in about 12 minutes here. All right. Redo, Dan, Eldon, did you guys get the button? We'll leave it up there. That background is dope, Patrick.
Just pretending like I'm in some tropical climate. Well, I am. I'm in Florida, but kind of pretending I'm on my nomad life right now.
I love it, man. So what we always do, guys, when we come back from breakout rooms is shares or shout outs. Do you have a share from something that you've learned, or a shout out for somebody that you connected with?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. We got time for 2. So whoever just spoke, hit it.
Here, I'm Will. I just hit a huge shout out of first to you, Andrea, for doing this. Your time is so valuable. And I want to shout out my team members in the breakout room, Jason and Angel, which their stories are great. I talk about my story as well. It's very inspiring. And this year, in comparison with 2023, I'm really looking to get more focused and aligned with not just my offer and my market, and what I'm selling is what I'm actually preaching myself. And that's a huge breakthrough because I cannot just teach if I'm not doing it. So yeah, I mean, in coaching, because I used to have a marketing agency as well, I just need to work on only one offer, one market, the rule of ones, right? And that's what I need to work on. So I hope you guys can do the same, and we're looking forward to keep these meetings going on.
100%, man. Love it. Love it. We don't get what we are, or we don't get what we want. We get what we are. So I love that you're putting the work in, man. One more share or shout out.
If anybody wants to share, I will. I didn't really get to meet the guys, but I was listening in and talking about dopamine hits and focus and patterns and stuff like that is huge for me. Like I'm really stepping into growing my business this year. Had 40 people on a call yesterday. I'm like, okay, there was new patterns that I had to create to create the success that I already have. But to get to the next level, it's like, okay, stop consuming too much content on Instagram, stop get these dopamine hits from all these other shit, and get your dopamine hits from growing your business. Get your create new patterns for getting new people on calls, create new patterns for helping people solve their problems. So definitely something I'm working on this year. So thanks guys that were in that room for sharing.
I love it. That's awesome. Sweet, guys. Thanks for the shares and shout outs. So what you guys are going to do from here is take the document over this weekend. You're going to get out of the head, back into the heart, do some exercise, do some breath work, let it flow instead of force when we're creating our vision. And it's not just about having a compelling vision, but what are the environments we need to put ourselves in? What are the beliefs that we need to install? What are the energy rituals we need to do to take effortless action towards our goals? What environments do we need to put ourselves in to achieve those goals? Because our inputs dictate our outputs. And when we're reducing the scrolling and the mindless bullshit that's coming from our amygdala and being conscious of what we're actually bringing in towards a meaningful goal, then we're much more likely to achieve it. Going back to the example of losing 20 pounds in 90 days, it was from learning all I could about nutrition, all I could about exercise, and how my biology actually works to reduce the amount of weight I had, increase the muscle, and the more inputs I had around achieving that goal, the more lit up I was, and the less I did the mindless scrolling or the masturbation or whatever it is. So when we create super meaningful goals from our heart instead of our head, and we have the inputs and the environment for us to succeed, we dramatically increase the likelihood of us achieving our vision. Does that make sense? Cool. So with the document, it's laid out with examples, the questions, everything to install in there. Take the time this weekend, 90 minutes for the reflections. And I promise you, when you guys get into the reflections, you're going to be like, holy shit, I did so much in 2023. This feels awesome. And it goes to the point of looking at the gain instead of the gap, looking at what we have accomplished and letting that be our fuel to accomplishing more, right? And then we go into our vision. And one big thing with the vision is don't overdo it. Don't set too many goals. A 10-year, a 3-year, a 10-year vision is really fucking powerful to have these big astronomical goals. In a year, make sure it aligns with your 10 3-year vision, right? To make those massive changes. Does that make sense? Cool. So I'm gonna leave time open. I don't have any calls after this. So if you guys wanna do some Q&A here, I'm here for it. And also, I know when people come to these trainings, about 95% of the people will not actually implement something that can actually change your life. So I want to give you guys the opportunity to learn a little bit more about the Masters of Fate Brotherhood, if that's cool with you guys. Put a 1 in the chat. If that's cool, put a 2 in the chat. No? Cool. Andrew, Jason, Patrick, Angel, Rick. Rick's inside of it. I love it. Awesome. So I've got the document here for you guys, the breakdown of the brotherhood. But what we work on is the 3E methodology: our energy, our identity, and executing our plan. It's a perfect mix between business and personal and relationships. So our goal is to help you build $1 million profit per year business, and also build the $1 million internal game with your energy and with your mindset. And also, some of the guys here that are from the Brotherhood have done some of our relationship exercises. So if you guys are in a intimate relationship, or if you are currently dating, we have some SOPs for all of that stuff as well. It's a holistic brotherhood, not just, oh, you do these strategies and these tactics. We actually need to change the internal to implement those strategies and tactics. So I've got a document that I'll drop in the chat for you guys. This is the breakdown of all the deliverables for the Brotherhood. And it's a 6-month commitment. Since we changed from a year to 6 months, we have an 80% retention rate. So 80% of the brothers continue after the initial 6-month period. You get a one-on-one dedicated accountability coach, which right now it's me. So you get extra time with me. You get a one-on-one roadmap call just for the next 8 people that are joining. I'm doing a one-on-one roadmap call with everybody, and one-on-one 911 calls whenever you need them. I'm hopping on a call with Ryan here pretty shortly here to go over some of his Airtable stuff. I just shot him the link yesterday. And we have weekly group planning sessions as well. So we plan our weeks together, our goals and our initiatives and our tasks and all of that stuff. And then we have 4 calls per week, which is come on for the planning session, the energy session, the business session, or the relationship session, where you get to go in breakout rooms with your other brothers, network, get to know one another, all of that. We have all of the training breakdowns here of everything that we have videos created for, and SOPs around offer creation, around booking calls organically, and page strategies as well, hiring team members, and also how to manage those team members, all of that stuff. So you guys can take a look at that. And then we have all the self-mastery trainings as well around your time design, your energy, your mindset, all of that good stuff to increase focus and discipline. And then the bonuses, we do a monthly challenge and a monthly book club. This month's book club is the Almanac of Naval Ravikant. If you guys haven't read that book, highly recommend it. We do one in-person event. Our next one is March 8th through 10th in Miami, which is all around business and getting the business OS installed into your business. Connection with 6, 7, 8-figure guys. And we have 60 guys in here right now. And also you get the exclusive system. So some of you guys might have seen my Human OS and Business OS. You guys get that installed as well. So the outcomes are getting your offer maximization model in place, your marketing system, sales systems, fulfillment systems, operation systems, hiring systems, financial system, planning system, and get a team of A players in place and hiring at the right time. And then on the personal side, getting your core values, your vision, your beliefs, and your principles in place, installing those into the Human OS, entering the ultimate flow state, and tapping into those levels of energy. Time design in place, nailing down your time design, and deleting limiting beliefs, installing empowering beliefs, and nailing down your daily energy mastery schedule and getting that in place. So I'll drop the document in here for you guys to go over. Boom. And most of the guys in there are agency owners and coaches and that sort of stuff. We have some people with physical locations, tattoo artists, that sort of stuff. And the guys are freaking awesome. I don't know if Ryan's still here, Rick's still here, Rick just joined, but the guys are super supportive and super awesome. All of it's on Skool as well. So here's a little bit of the background. And we have everything processed out and SOP'd out, and all of the videos in here, which is pretty awesome around business and around personal and relationships. And the guys are freaking awesome. This is what the community looks like. Boom, right here. You guys are sweet. Cool. So we are doubling the price of it before the end of the month or the next 8 spots. We've just done so much work in here. That's definitely fucking worth it. If you guys want to explore that, learn a little bit more, and you want to commit to 2024 being the best year of your life, I'll drop my Calendly link down inside of here to book in a call. And I think I have a decent amount of spots left, and then we can explore that together. Does that sound good, guys? Cool. Drop it down in here. And I've been doing this for a long freaking time. I've been in agency, I've been in coaching, I've burnt out multiple times. I've helped people like Cole Gordon start his business. Now he runs a $40 million sales agency. Helped people like Doug Botten, who now runs a multiple 7-figure business. He started he was a waiter at a restaurant when we first met, and helped Bastian Slot go from agency at 20K to doing over 100K in 90 days. So helped a lot of people. We have a whole page on that if you guys want to look at that, but sure we might be able to help. I'd love to explore that with you. And I think I have a good amount of time next week. So you can hit that Calendly link that's in the chat to explore that personally with me. No salespeople. This is my forever thing. I fucking love it. I've already built and sold a coaching company, so I just do this for fun and the impact. So cool. Does that sound good, guys? Sweet. So I've got time to go into Q&A around vision, values, business, anything. I'll allocate about 20 minutes to Q&A. This is a great opportunity to just share what you're focused on and what questions you might have. See where I can help.
Hello, Andrea. Here, me again.
Well,
So, thank you. So really my question is, and I've been so invested in doing a coaching business, not just doing funnels and doing ads anymore, because that's operations. And I want to focus on a problem, a big problem, of course, that I can solve, that I already solved for myself. And I think that's the right move to make in 2024, because I already made that happen for me, and I'm not promising something that I even doing. Sorry.
You're
Sorry.
good.
Yeah, now I'm good. So I think my next move and my question is, should I just offer something aligned with half I've done with my market research, my my channels? I mean, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, I do better in Facebook, to be honest. And just with a lead strategy connection with all those dream leads or dream clients that I know that will take action with that offer, instead of just making something that probably would take more time, like training myself in closing sales more effectively, or even setting my own appointments, rather than going for the gap that I plan to solve, to bridge the gap for other people.
Yeah, the most important thing anybody can do here is just build their audience imperfectly and tell their own stories. The better we get at storytelling, the more dopamine we produce in other people's brains, which increases their motivation and their focus. And the distance between where we're at and where we want to go is just a matter of building skill sets. And storytelling is one of the best ways to do that. And you're not going to be perfectly clear on your offer. I see so many people wasting so much time on these long offer documents when things shift and change once you start building an audience and getting people into your initial offer. So what I did back in the day was I had built a six-figure agency, and I built the Facebook group, the Six-Figure Digital Marketer, and I didn't know exactly what I was selling. I actually sold $97 messenger bot templates before I launched a group coaching program, and we made $62,000 in February of 2018 just off of messenger bot templates. And that was the power of growing that audience. When you have an audience, when you have attention, you'll never be poor. The main thing is imperfect action and the 3 C's: content, conversations, and calls. And if you just focus on those things and get hyper obsessed for 6 months to growing your audience, you'll never be poor again. Where I see people give up is like, I need to have this perfect, I need to know this. But really, it's just about getting people into one area and providing them a shit ton of value, and working on ourselves at the same time. Like, I wouldn't have been able to inspire other people to join my group if I hadn't set that goal to lose 20 pounds and to quit drinking and started my own business and all of that stuff. The thing with offer creation is keep it super fucking simple. Just the first round, the beta round of like a group coaching program, or when you initially launch your agency, you're not going to know perfectly what it is. But make sure you just focus on that one thing at that one time. When I was launching the messenger bot templates, I didn't have anything else. It was just those messenger bot templates. But that wouldn't have been possible without the audience and just hyper focusing on building awareness over 6 months. So hopefully that answers your question.
That answers that. I mean, based on your own testimony and your own journey, trust me, I know what I can do. Thank you so much.
I love it. Great question. Steve, Jason, Adolfo.
I can go if it's
Angel.
okay. Yeah. Hi. So I kind of have no direction. I want to make more money. What I'm doing, so for the last 10 years, I was a personal trainer. I am a personal trainer. For the last 7 years, I teach personal trainers, I mean athletes, how to become personal trainers. I give them a diploma, accreditation, right? And then back in 2018, I started my agency, building funnels, running ads. So most of my clients were personal trainers, but in my country, in Romania. So I have success with them. I had some clients from US, but I want to transition. I guess I will make more money if I will get US clients. I also had some clients from different niche, like coaching, life coaching, personal development stuff. I also did that certification for myself. That's how I get some clients, because I was in that group. And I don't know exactly what should be my focus in order to transition. Should I stay only in personal training, or helping personal trainers to scale their business using funnels and ads? Also, I have that. That's why I built my own agency, like SaaS. Or
Yeah.
should I be broader and also help other coaches?
Yeah, I think if you've done it for yourself before, one of the most impactful things that you can do is help other people do it. And we're moving towards more of a wisdom economy, where it's our own unique experiences that we can share with others that makes us the brand and us the business and that sort of stuff. And the more experiences that we build up in ourselves, the more we can share with others, the more valuable we become. And I went from agency to selling messenger bots to selling coaching. I transitioned a lot in my first year, and it was just pivoting until I found something I really loved and something that was really leveraged, which was the Facebook group coaching, and then teaching people how to systemize and hire the right people and that sort of stuff. So really the back end offer or helping other coaches is super leveraged. And if you've done it for yourself before, that's a great thing to transition into.
And to start, how can I start?
I would say book a call with me. That would be number one. We can go deeper on that. But number two is it always starts with a beta launch. You're not going to have it perfectly down. You're not going to know exactly what it is, but you just set the amount of time, whether that's 3 months, 4 months, 6 months for the beta round, and a number of spots and a price point on it. And every offer comes down to the 3 Ps: problem, promise, process. The better you can know their problems and identify those things, easier it is to create content. Process is your unique mechanism. That's 3 to 5 steps of how they get from their problems to the promise of ultimately where they want to go. So, for example, my main promise when I launched my beta program was grow. My first one, grow your Facebook group to 1,000 members in 90 days and launch your first program. Because people, what they were struggling with was like, I don't have an audience. I don't have awareness, anything like that. I don't know what I'm actually selling. And then what we had the strategies for was growing their Facebook group super quickly and launching their initial offer. So any offer comes down to the 3 Ps: problem, promise, process. So.
Okay, thanks.
Cool. Who else? Jason, we got 10 minutes left. Jason, Adolfo, I love it. Extra time. Bring the questions out. Andrew, Dan, Arlie.
Problem, promise, and
Process. It's problem, current situation, promise, desired situation. Process is the bridge from their current situation to their desired situation.
awesome.
Yeah, it just simplifies offer creation so much. All an offer is taking somebody from their pain points, their challenges, their current situation to a desired situation of where they ultimately want to be at. Just like a Coca-Cola. Like my problems is I'm thirsty and I want a tasty drink. Okay, cool. Then the promise is we will quench your thirst and you will enjoy drinking it. The process is you go to the store and you put it in your mouth, wherever it is, right? It's the world is all connected. It's all the same shit. Problem, promise, process.
Awesome.
On my end, brother, before I go, I got nothing to say. I wasn't even expecting to jump on here, but thank you for the invitation, one. And two, I really found value. So what can I do in return? Maybe a quick video or something like that, if it helps. You might not need it.
Oh, okay. I was trying to figure out who was talking, but
That was
that's
me,
all.
Adolfo.
There are a few things. So number one, if you feel like we can support you, let's definitely hop on a call. Number two, the 7-Figure Entrepreneurs free community. We're looking to be active and engaged in there and help people with these methodologies and business and all of that. And we run these calls every Thursday. So would love to see your face. I'll probably do these calls personally for the next 2 months or so. So on that, and if any of you guys want to drop in the community, the 7-Figure Entrepreneur community, testimonial or something that you learned on this, that would be super helpful as well. So, yeah.
Great. Thank you.
Thanks for asking, dude. Cool. And then we got a question here from Nins. How did you know when it was time to sell your business and do something new? Great question. So personally, I felt out of alignment with what I was selling. My business didn't start from a place of values. It started from a place of scarcity, which is totally okay to start off that way first. There are 3 levels to it: make yourself rich, make your clients rich, make your team rich. And I wanted to create something new that was aligned with my values and the impact that I wanted to make in the world. And we were still doing really freaking good. We were profiting around 200K per month when I sold it. I just felt out of alignment and burnt out with it. And that was a decision for selling it. The thing that the Michael Chu actually bought was we had $1.1 million on contracts that he was super interested in. And then we had an awesome team that he was buying, the content that I created, he was buying, and then all the marketing lists, like growing the Facebook group, the email marketing lists, all of that stuff. Last 2022, my business did 200K, last down second half of 2023, I did the rest travel. Awesome, love the travel. Right now, I'm thinking I still want to grow my agency business and do BPO services or just do something else. I think what I want to have some sort of security, having more streams of income. So a couple things there. I think it's great that you took time off and you traveled. That's super important when we're feeling burnt out, taking care of our energy, breath work, meditation, exercise, travel, seeing new things. And then it re-energizes us to get back into it. So end of 2018, I was super burnt out. I made $500,000 in my first year at like 85% profit because I didn't know how business was run or like how to build a team. So it was just straight profit from the Facebook group and the things I was launching. But I burnt the fuck out. I didn't know how to use left. And I went to Deer Park Monastery in Escondido, took the month off. And then the next year we tripled our business. My energy was back, my clarity was back, all of that stuff. So it's awesome that you took the time off. What I would say is the man who chases 2 rabbits catches none. And if you're still lit up by your agency and you have your offers in place and you're building your audience, the best thing that you can do is focus on that. And whatever profit you make, you have the right money bucket system to put into investments, into tax savings, into emergency fund, into a travel fund, whatever it is, and just managing the finances properly. Where I see people screw up is by chasing too many rabbits and going after too many things, especially after they got something off the ground. When somebody's first starting out, it's really beneficial to try a bunch of different stuff and figure out what we love, but it sounds like you already have this up and running. The other thing too, a lot of agencies are transitioning to agency coaching hybrid models. So there might be something that you can do a little bit more coaching inside of your business, which adds leverage and happier clients. We have a few brothers that are doing that right now, and it's working really well. Because you're teaching them how to fish, not fishing for them 24/7, and they appreciate it more, and you're more lit up by it typically. So.
Right. Thank you. I appreciate.
Yeah. Great question. Cool. Any last questions, you guys? Yeah.
I wrote my values in a document, but I don't remember where I saved the document. So I want to know if you have something in Human OS to write the values and have present every moment.
Yes. So great question. So one of the things that we do inside of the Human OS, when you guys join the Brotherhood, is with the Human OS, you can take that document and put it directly inside of your Human OS, which is a centralized location for your entire life. And as you guys know, we need to be reminded more than we need to be taught. and you have your values, your beliefs, your vision, all of that stuff directly in your human OS. So you're reminded every single day of who you are and staying in alignment with that. Great question. And anybody here book a call? Raise their hands. Yeah, Jason. And then did I see your hand, Angel? Oh man, come on. Okay, I'll book a call. Awesome. Yep. And no pressure. I'll let you know if we can help you. If not, totally cool too. You just get a lot out of it. 30 minutes being on here with me. I'll put it back in the chat. Yep.
So when we join that brotherhood, and we have access to all those stuff lifetime, or is it cut off at the 6th month and you have to renew? Because I know, back in Tribal Buyers when it was bought out by Michael Chu, like he took away everything. I was like, no way, dude. And when I was with you, I was like, dude, we still had access to like GGMB and all that stuff. How is that working going forward with you? Do you still have access to all that after the 6 months, or is it continuing? You have to buy into it again?
So you have access to the human OS and the business OS for a lifetime, because there's nothing I can do about that. And for the courses right now, there's some of the brothers that I actually keep in there. I'm actually really flexible based on where they're at, what they've gotten out of it, all of that stuff. So it comes down to the principle is that we remove it after the 6 months. But there's some brothers where I'm just like, they could still continue using this and that and so on and so forth. So the principle is no, but there are some brothers that I leave in there and that sort of stuff. So I'm excited for a call, man. Super stoked.
You, man.
Yeah. And then also for the women that are here, we have a sisterhood too. Same structure. We have 3 women in there right now. We're going to fill up the final 2 women in there right now. We're going to fill up the final 8 spots this month. So if you want to explore that as well, feel free to book in a call. And we're doing our first combined sisterhood and brotherhood event, March 8th through 10th in Miami, which I'm stoked about. We have 15 tickets that are non-brothers and sisters. So if you want to learn about that as well, put a 1 in the chat and I'll shoot you over the link. Those events are freaking awesome. Okay. Yeah. The big thing that we talked about today was the 3E method: energize, evolve, execute, getting out of our head, back into our heart, achieving more flow in our life instead of force, reducing our cortisol, increasing our serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, more love, joy chemicals to keep us in alignment. And I sent you guys over the document. Did everybody get the vision document? Cool. Yeah. And this weekend, what you're going to do is do some energy rituals, breath work, exercise, meditation, and then take 90 minutes to do the reflections, and then usually about 2 hours for the intentions. And it's not just about the vision, but the skill sets you're going to build, the beliefs you're going to install, the people you're going to surround yourself with to ensure that you achieve your vision, achieve your goals. So sweet. Does that sound good, guys? Cool. Keep us updated in the 7-figure entrepreneur community. We do these calls every Thursday, and super excited for everybody that booked a call. Super excited to go deeper with you guys and what you're looking for and see if we can help. Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Talk soon, guys.
See you. See you.